say hello to all my neighbors here in Chickasaw. It's me again, the fence guy, bringing you another Questions by the Campfire. Usually I'll go ahead and give out one of these when something big happens with one of our council meetings. Everyone knows our council meetings don't last long. They usually last about 10, 15, 20 minutes tops, sometimes 30 if we're lucky. Well, this one only lasted about 10 minutes, long enough for them to go in there to say a prayer, salute the flag, and make a major decision here for Chickasaw. One behind closed doors in an executive meeting where they decided the fate of our chief of police due to the fact that his contract is ending next month. Unfortunately, we'll be losing Chief Fillingham. He will no longer be our chief of police, and a lot of people were upset about this, including myself. And it also looks like the news was. And again, we are in the news and not for something good. Let's check this out.
And we begin with an NBC 15 News reality check. Chickasaw city leaders ousting their police chief.
Last night, the mayor informed Chief Brian Fillingham his contract will not be renewed. NBC 15's Andrea Ramey joins us now.
Andrea, a court document you obtained appears to shed some light on this decision.
That's right, Kim and Greg, because we didn't get any explanation from city leaders about what happened. But
wait a minute. Don't tell me once again they've got a news report where the mayor or the city council had nothing to say. My guess is they probably sent the attorney out there to speak for them again. Usually when something bad happens, you don't hear from them. Let's move on.
in a deposition that I obtained, the chief testified that he feared retaliation at work. Chickasaw Police Chief Brian Fillingham testified in a deposition last month that Chickasaw City Councilman Adam Bourne directed him to intimidate a political adversary.
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that Adam told the chief of police to intimidate somebody? That almost sounds like a bully. I thought Adam was against bullies. Let's continue and see what else we can find out.
Fillingham said Bourne told him, quote, "You should be going to these people's homes and scaring them," and that if Fillingham didn't do it, he'd find someone who would, which Fillingham took as a direct threat. When Fillingham was asked, quote, "Are you concerned about retaliation for testifying today?" Fillingham replied, "Yes, I am." Last night, after going into executive session, Fillingham says Mayor Barry Broadhead informed him his contract will not be renewed. Fillingham told us he wasn't given a reason why, and in fact was told he'd done a great job.
Okay, now I'm confused. How are you going to fire somebody but tell them they did a great job in the same breath? You need to take a look at his history here in Chickasaw. Chief Fillingham's done a lot of good for this city. The major drug bust just a couple of weeks ago where he confiscated guns and drugs and got them off the street. Stopping the fake harassment charges from Adam that he's been trying to do. Trying to do something to benefit the feral cats. At one point in time, he was going to do something where he put me and Bill in jail for 24 hours to help raise money for the feral cats. He's participated in organizing fundraisers. He's had not only the police department, but also the fire when he first got started. He has an open door policy with citizens, second to none. All you got to do is go there, ask to speak with him, and he'll meet with you and talk with you at any point in time. And even though he knew he was going to cost him his job, he still stood up for the citizens of Chickasaw and testified in court. Let's move on.
Fillingham declined to comment whether his deposition played a role.
We kind of figured something like this was going to happen.
The deposition
Wait a minute. I didn't know Brad Pitt came to Chickasaw.
Was taken in a libel lawsuit filed by a city worker against unsuccessful Chickasaw political candidates and their supporters. Joe Spinelli's wife is named in the suit. He believes the deposition is what sealed Fillingham's fate.
Because of that, that's why we think he's being let go.
Fillingham says he recorded that conversation with Bourne, a recording the city is fighting to keep under wraps by seeking a protective order.
So the way I'm gathering this is that the city doesn't want this recording to get out into the public. And so they're trying to put a protective order in a lawsuit that's going on with a lot of the majority of the candidates that ran against the A-team during the last election and their supporters. Yes, there is a lawsuit going on for $5 million with that. This thing that's in front of you right now, that's the slap. Yeah, that's what politicians use when they're trying to silence citizens or trying to intimidate them. And that's exactly what this lawsuit's all about right here. Anyway.
The attorneys argue, quote, the recording contains a heated conversation over the handling and curtailing the rise in crime in Chickasaw, and that Bourne, quote, encouraged the police chief and department to take a more aggressive approach to combating the uptick in crime, especially in light of the frightening encounter on Bourne's property where an unknown individual trespassed and threatened him and his then 3-year-old daughter. Bourne and the mayor did not respond to messages that I left for them today for comment. Now, Fillingham says that he will be paid to serve out the remainder of his contract, but he will only be returning to the department to clear out his desk. In Mobile tonight, Andrea Ramey, NBC 15 News.
And that's what was in the news this week about Chickasaw. Unfortunately, I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of newscasts like this. Chickasaw's got some very dark days ahead of it. Unfortunately, the council has brought this upon themselves and brought this upon our city. We've lost a lot of good employees lately, and a lot of good employees have had to leave because of the corrupt requests that are being asked of them. Chief Fillingham, I don't know if you're going to see this or not, but I just want to let you know on behalf of myself and a lot of citizens out here, we want to thank you for the last 3 years of the service that you provided for us. You are going to be missed, and we appreciate everything you've done for Chickasaw. As far as everything else goes, Adam Bourne has got his supporters. You're going to see on Facebook that they're going to be saying stuff like it's all a big conspiracy, that we're making it up, that's not true, and I'm sure that that's just the way it is. And some people, you're just not going to change their minds. But over the past 2 years, this is the kind of thing we've had to deal with. It hasn't been out in the open. Ever since they started this slap lawsuit, a lot of us had to keep quiet about the things that are being done and things that are happening in the city. But again, like I said, this will all come out in the wash soon. They ran as a team. They won as a team, and they're running the city as a team. So if one's at fault, they're all at fault. It's like baseball. You can't blame the pitcher. You can't blame the catcher. If a team loses, the whole team loses. If the team wins, the whole team won. Well, back when the elections were going on, they won the election. And everybody that lost the election, for the first month, 2 months, they kept their mouth shut. What everybody didn't know, that while we were keeping our mouth shut, we were dealing with citations from the city, harassment from the city, people in the city trying to set us up. And again, like I said, these aren't lies. I'm not making this up. I'm just like everybody else out there. Unfortunately, a lot of people have shown us in a bad light because they're listening to the council, they're listening to Adam, and it is what it is. But we're no different than anybody else. We're good people. We work hard. We take care of our community. That's what we try to do. And unfortunately, when they won, instead of being humble about their victory and moving on and doing good for the city, the first thing they did, Barry Broadhead stopped us from talking. He stopped all the talking at the council meetings. We're no longer a voice of opinion. You got to send everything. He doesn't always answer. Well, most of the time he doesn't answer. But I remember one thing. When Ken Stewart won, the first thing he did, he went to Facebook. He put up the theme to the A-Team. And he said he loved it when a plan came together. My question is simple. Ken, is this all part of the plan? Because if it is, it's a bad plan, brother.
Target on my back, lone survivor last. They got me in the sights. No surrender, no trigger, fingers go. Living the dangerous life. Hey, 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 every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Cheering me up, spitting me out. Hey, 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 when I need to be saved, you're making me strong, you're making me stand. Shot like a rocket up into the sky. Nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel, man.